to be able to get your seedlings going and get good quality seedlings. So this is how I have mine set up for now. But I just take this plastic off. Since I have it in the basement, I just covered it with plastic, just a little bit of more temperature protection. And let me take this out right here. As you can see, I have my seed starting uh, all in one setup over here. I have the tray inside. You have the lights, and the lights are controlled by a controller right here. And I have a heat mat underneath that maintains the temperature, at least provides a little bit more temperature to the seedlings, so that way they can do well, they can germinate. So this is what I have going up for. And it also has regulators right here that you can regulate how much humidity you have in there. You can open it up or close it up completely. Same with this. And you can also stack them together. So if you want, you can take if you have you're running out of space, you can stack them like this. But the problem with stacking them like this is you won't be using the heat mat unless you put another heat mat on top of this. But I put them down, there's no space, and I want them to make sure that they're on the heat mat. So some of the things you want to consider when you're starting your seeds, you want to make sure that you start with sterile material, sterile seed starting mix. Let me just show you guys what I have going on here before we continue. So these are the pepper seedlings that I started last week. I'll just put this down over here, pull this out like that. So I'll put them on the side over here like this for now. So these are peppers that I started them last week. If you were here, you watched my live last week. I planted them in this tray. You can see they're already doing well. These ones started a little bit earlier, and then I added a few more, like maybe 4 or 5 days ago. I added some on this over here. This Some of these have started germinating already, but they're not coming out yet. They're not producing leaves yet. So hopefully within the next couple of days or next week, you should be able to see a full tray of peppers right here. Same with this. I have peppers on one side, and I have garden egg on the other side. These ones I just did them 4 days ago. So by next week you should have them coming out. So like I was saying, starting your seeds, you don't want to use garden soil, you don't want to use potting mix, you want to use a seed starting mix. Because of a couple of reasons. One, seed starting mix is much lighter than the potting mix. Let me show you an example of my uh, seed starting mix over here. So you can make your own seed starting mix. I make my own seed starting mix, but I bought this just so that I show you guys. You can use seed starting mix like this. It's already pre-mixed. All you need to do is soak it in a little of water. I usually use a little bit of lukewarm water, and just make sure that don't put a lot of water in there, and then I use it to start my seedlings. The reason for using seed starting mix, like I said before, is it's sterile. It doesn't have any uh, bacteria. It doesn't have any fungi. It doesn't have any pests in there that would harm your plants. It's sterile. You want to use a sterile material because seedlings are very young. They are very susceptible to diseases and stuff like that. So you want to use a sterile, and also it's lightweight compared to potting mix and the regular soil. It's very lightweight. Let me just show you guys a little bit here. It's very lightweight, and so the seedlings can easily send their roots underneath, and they can easily grow in the mix. So those are some of the two most important reasons why you want to use this seed starting mix, because it provides much better start for the plants. And some of them have um, uh, they have vermiculite that retains a little bit of water, but that's not really important. Like I said, you can make your own seed starting mix. Probably one of these days I'm going to show you how I make my own seed starting mix. It's very easy to do, and it saves you a lot of money. So once you have your seed starting mix, you need a tray. You can use a tray like this. This is an all-in-one tray. Like I said before, the reason I like this one is because you don't have to worry about anything. It has everything. It comes with everything except the heat mat. All you need to do is get a tray like this. I'll have it in the link below if you want. If you want it, it's in the link below. But all you need is a tray like this. The tray has um, your seed tray on it, and it has a reservoir underneath. You can see the reservoir. I'll probably put some water in there later on. It has a reservoir that holds the water, so that way you don't have to check on this every day or every 2 3 days. Once it has enough water in there, it should be fine. And then once you cover it, all the evaporation and everything, it stays back into the tray, and so you don't need to um, water it maintains the water level that it needs. And the third thing is it comes with a grow light. It has a grow light that I just took out. It comes with a grow light, and the grow light gives it all the light that it needs for it to do well. You can see these ones are doing well. So that's why I always say, for somebody that's new, and you starting your seeds indoors, you want to make sure that you have uh and you don't know much about seed starting, this is the best setup for you to do. Like I said, it's very easy, has everything. The only other thing that you need, since you're doing it indoors, most probably, is what you need is this a heat mat. So the heat mat just helps increase the temperature in the tray. You can see a heat mat like this. Heat mat like this just helps increase the temperature on the seedlings, so that way, because mostly seedlings germinate once the temperature is consistently above 70 to 75 degrees. That's when they germinate and they do well. So you want to make sure that you provide them some heat for them to be able to germinate much faster. So you can still do it without the heat mat, but just if you have it in a nice hot location, that's fine. But if you don't have a nice hot location, a heat mat like this will maintain the temperature in the seed starting tray, and also make sure that the ceilings are nice and warm inside for them to thrive. So if you have any questions so far, leave the questions in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many of them as possible. Like I said, one reason why you want this setup like this is it has everything that you need. Yeah, all you need to do is add your seed starting mix, add your seeds. Another thing that you need for growing your seeds, you need the seeds. And there are so many different ways that you can get seeds. I'm sure you guys are familiar with most of them, but you want to make sure that the seeds that you're using are seeds that are viable, because the longer this seeds stay, the less viable they are for them to germinate. So if you have some very old seeds that are not properly stored, they're not going to do well. So when you're buying seeds, make sure that you check the seed date on the packet. Make sure that the seeds are still viable, because if you're using old seeds that you've had it for 10, 15, or 6 years, they're not going to be as viable as new seeds that were just harvested last year. So make sure that you watch out for something like that when you're planting your seeds or you're buying seeds. So another tip is, sometimes it's much beneficial if you want to speed up the process a little bit more. um, Depending on the seed, you can soak the seeds. You can soak it for maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, or you can soak it for 24 hours, depending on the seeds. Usually, seeds like corn and beans, you can soak it for 24 hours and then transplant it. Soaking the seeds just help the seeds absorb a lot of moisture, and they're able to germinate a lot faster, as opposed to just having them in this seed starting tray like this. So those are some of the things that you want to consider when you're starting seeds. Anybody, like I said, if you've never started seeds, it's very easy to do. Lots of information out there. If you check my channel, also my channel has a lot of seeds starting videos, various ways to grow seeds, and various ways to grow various types of seeds. If you just use the name 7 Savings Garden on any of the platforms, you'll see a lot of videos from a couple of years ago and from 10 years ago that I've been talking about how to start your seeds and various ways to start your seeds. And like I said, this is not the only way you can start your seeds. This is the most convenient for somebody that's starting new, or that doesn't want to hassle, doesn't want to worry too much about the seed starting process. But you can start seeds in any containers. I'm sure you guys have seen it. You can start seeds in aluminum trays. Let me see, I have some cups here. You can start seeds in aluminum trays. You can start seeds in extra egg cartons like this. You can start seeds in egg cartons like this. You can start seeds in solo cups like this. So I have all those videos on my channel if you want to check those out. So yeah, so many various ways of starting your seeds and how you can start your seeds. It all depends on your setup, where you have it, and how comfortable are you with the various ways that I just talked about. So, any questions, comments? Let me see. Let me just check and I'll answer any questions or comments we have before we go ahead. Thanks everybody for joining the live. Thank you so much. Any questions? Okay, I have one here. It says, "Oh, thanks for joining. From Cincinnati. Good brother. Thank you for joining. Um, we have somebody's asking, how often do you water your seeds? Um, so like I said, with this setup right here, you don't need to you don't need to water your seeds out often because it has a reservoir underneath that you just need to check regularly, maybe after maybe 4 or 5 days, depending on the stage. If it's at the beginning stages like this, maybe 4 or 5 days or more before you check it. The ones the seedlings have started producing leaves like this, you want to check it maybe every 3 to 4 days. Just all you need to do is lift it up like this, and you see the water level in there. So you just want the water to, let me just put this here. You just want the water to cover at least the minimum, the base of the tray, so that way the seed starting mix can wick up the water into the seed tray. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water into this one right here. But like I said, you can use you can do it every 4 or 5 days. You can do it every couple of days. But you just want to make sure that you don't put a lot of water in there. The seed starting mix itself is gonna wick the water up. So what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of water. A little bit of water like that is fine. It's gonna it's gonna wick the water up. So with this, like I said, with a tray that has a reservoir underneath, maybe check it every 5 days. It's fine. I'm sure even if the reservoir is dry, the seed starting mix itself is still gonna stay moist. You don't want to overwater it. Like I said, you don't want to fill it up halfway or to the top. You just want the water at the bottom so that the seed starting mix uh can wick the water to the top and maintain the same thing over here. We're just gonna add a little bit of water to this one. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Like, if you're liking the live or liking the video, please smash the like button. If you're not following me, follow me for more live and more gardening tips and tricks like this. Like I said, we have so many different ways that you can start your seeds, and so many different things that you can use to start your seeds. So this is just one of them that you can use to start. Why I was talking about this is because it's very easy and it's very convenient for somebody that's starting seeds, that's new to gardening or new to starting seeds. You don't have to worry about buying a grow light separate. You don't need to worry about getting the tray underneath separate. Everything comes in one, and you get 2 pack like this. So with the 2 pack, you can grow one set like this, or you can grow 2 sets like I'm doing right here. That's all up to you, and you can also program it with this right here. You can switch it on and off, and you can also program it to go for different hours. So it has 12 hours. I have it mine set for 12 hours. For ceilings, you want the ceilings to have at least a minimum of 8 hours, 8 hours every day for ceilings for the leaves to do well. So I have mine in 12 hours. 12 hours much better because it gives them enough light, especially if the leaves have started coming out. When the leaves are not coming out, that's fine. You can turn the light off. But as soon as you see shoots start coming out, you want to turn the light on so that way it starts providing them some sunlight. So you can put 12 hours, you can put 6 hours, or you can put it for 3 hours. So that's all up to you. It's all set over here. All you need to do is press the button to to time it, to switch it, and it's a timer right here at the bottom. If you can see right here, blue, and you have blue and red is 12 hours. Then you can dim the light down if it's too bright, or you can dim it up like that. So you can change different settings on the light. So if you want it much brighter like this at the beginning of the growing season, or the seed starting process, you want to do something like that where it has enough light for it to do well. And so that's the reason why I bought this set. I think I bought this set last year, and I used it last year. I have a couple of videos that I did last year that was showing how they were doing in here. And so, like I said, it's something very nice, very easy to use, and very easy to do. If you don't want to spend money on this, you don't want to, if you already have trays, that's fine. If you don't want to spend money on this, you can, like I said, you can use a solo cup. You can start with a solo cup. You can use egg cartons, like I showed you over here. I like I said, I have videos. I have videos that shows you how to use all of these. These ones, all you need to do is just make a hole at the bottom. Same with this. You can make a hole at the bottom. Just make a couple of holes at the bottom, and then just fill it up with your seed starting mix. You can also use trays. You can let me show you aluminum trays. Let me grab so aluminum trays. So those of you that have parties, or even if you don't have parties, but this is a tray that I got from. We had a party, and the tray was used for heating, and you can use a tray like this. I love this tray, and I use it all the time because I grow a lot of seeds, and I grow a lot of tiny seeds, and I sprinkle them. So check out my videos, you'll see how I grow on this, and you can still do the same setup with this, like this, by using two of these trays. The tray at the bottom will have just a little bit of water with something on it, and then the tray on top will have your seed starting mix, and then you sprinkle your seeds on top, and you're good to go. So you don't have to buy this, but if you want this complete everything that's growing inside, you're growing inside, you need a light, then you can do this. But if you already have a light, that's fine. You can use something like this. So with something like this, I have another grow light. So like I said, I've been growing for more than 20 years. So I have so many different lights. See, this is a grow light right here. All you need to do is put it on top. And this one. This is what I use for the trays. Most often, this is what I use for the trays. This is another grow light that I use. Just put it on top like this, and it covers the whole tray, and I'm able to get my ceilings going with a tray like this. So like I said, this is there are so many different options. There are so many different ways you can start seeds. So many different ways you can get your seeds going without necessarily buying this right here. But this one is the ultimate easy seed starting that reduces the need for other extra stuff. Because if you're using this, for example, if you're using this setup that I have right here, you're gonna have to cover it up with a plastic, and then you put the light on top so that the humidity stays on top, and then at least the humidity provides a little greenhouse effect for it. And then you put this light on top, and you turn the light on, and then you need a timer for this light. I have a timer, but if you're doing this, you're gonna need a timer for this, or you're gonna have to come and do it yourself. Every evening, go turn it on, and in the morning, go turn it off. The reason why I says this method is much easier. I don't have to worry about this. Very often, I still use this, but not really at the beginning. At the beginning, where I have very few seeds that I'm starting right now, snowing outside. Right now in the basement. So at the beginning, where I don't have a lot, I'm not starting a lot of seeds. I use these because they are nice and easy. I don't have to worry about it. So I very early like this, I start with peppers. Peppers and garden egg, they're ones that take a little bit longer. And so I start with them, and it take about maybe 10 weeks for them to really get ready to be transplanted outside. That's why I'm starting them early. But later on next month, I'll start growing them in my aluminum trays and other various methods that I have. But for now, if you want to start something easy that you don't have to worry about it, you can check it maybe twice a week and you're good. It's something like this. Like I said, it has everything. All you need is a seed starting mix, your seeds, and a heat mat to provide some heat inside, especially if you're doing it in the basement like this or in the garage. Then you need something to provide some heat and maintain at least some temperature in there. So that's what I'm talking about right here. So this is in the comments below, or check the button below if you need something like this. But like I said, there are so many different options. So check out those options that I talked about before. You can use any of them to be able to start your seeds. You don't necessarily have to buy this, but make sure that you're using a seed starting mix. You can make your own seed starting mix. If you guys want me to make a separate live video or live on how I do my own seed starting mix, comment below seed starting mix, DIY seed starting mix, and I will maybe schedule the next live so that we do a seed starting mix. That's gonna save you a lot of money, because buying this, yes, is not too expensive, but if you're growing a lot of plants like I do, this is gonna be, if I was just using like these bags to start my seeds, I'll need probably about 20 of these bags. So that's why I make my own seed starting mix, and it doesn't cost me the price of half or one third of these, because I buy everything in bulk and I'm able to mix it the way I want it, and they get the right result. So that's something that you can do to save money on this. Instead of using soil, make your own seed starting mix and be able to. And some of the things that you might need if you're making your own seed starting mix, you're gonna need probably perlite. You're gonna need perlite. Um, this perlite is just the perlite just makes the seed starting mix a little bit more fluffy and let the water easily drain through. That's why you use perlite. And then another one that you can add to it is vermiculite. Vermiculite is similar to perlite, but it absorbs. It can retain a little bit of moisture, and so the moisture, it retains moisture that your roots can easily grab when they need it. So, and then you need I don't have it right here with me, but you need peat moss. Peat moss is a or cocoa core is what you can use to mix it up together. So, like I said, those are simple things that you can do and save yourself time, energy, and money starting your own seeds. Any questions? Thanks everybody for sticking around. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Share the video. Share the video if you're liking the videos. Share the video, and also don't forget to let me know, what are you growing in your garden this year? What do you plan to grow in your garden? Have you started your seeds already? Okay, yeah. Cultivation pieces. Can you show us the light? Are you talking of the light on the tray or the other light that I just showed you? I don't know if you're talking about the lights on this tray or the lights that I just did over there. So the lights on this one, I can just pull it out right here. So the good thing with this is the lights come out like this. So see, the lights come out. So all you need to do is just put the lights in there. It has a spot for it. Same with this one on this side. The lights come out. So it has two grow lights on top. So those are the lights right there. So you have two grow lights. And if I tilt it like this, you can see the lights. And you can also see the adjustment, the holes or the vents that you can adjust. You can see the vents and the holes. You can adjust it if you want a lot of air to get out, humidity and stuff like that. You can control the humidity in here by opening it up if you want. more humidity, or closing it if you want more humidity, or opening it or if you want less. So you can adjust it. That's why I said this is really good. And like I said, it, the dome the dome gives it a little bit of space for the seedlings to grow. um the only one thing that I it's good, but the only one thing that I usually I prefer, if they could adjust this, was to increase it a little bit, right? So that way, once the ceilings get to maybe 2 weeks, you have to take it out of here, because they're gonna be touching the top of this over here, but it's still fine. For starting seeds, this is the best that I've seen so far out there, that you can easily get, um, and it comes with everything. So like I said, they have a promotion going on right now. Check the link below, and if you want to grab it, awesome, it'll help you. If you don't want something like this, if you want to go the cheap DIY way, like I said, you can use trays, you can use solo cups like this. With solo cups, you want to make sure you have holes at the bottom, right? And with this egg cartons, all I usually do is just make a hole at the bottom. It will still drain the water, but if you have a hole at the bottom, it drains much faster. And then once the seedlings are ready to be transplanted, this thing is biodegradable. You can just plant it with a cotton, and it's gonna break down in the soil. So you can use that, or you can use aluminum tray. Like I said before, you can use an aluminum tray like this and be able to still start your seeds, and so many different containers that you can use to start your seeds. Let me know in the comments below what some of the things that you can do. So some of the common mistakes that people do: you need to know your last frost date in your area. If you're gonna start seeds, you need to know when is the last frost date in your area. If you guys have a frost date, last frost date is the last day you're gonna have frost in your area. So if you have last frost, for example, I have my last frost date around the first week of May. So you want to make sure that you time when you're gonna start your seeds. The seedlings, they take different time to germinate. Like I said, peppers and garden egg take a little bit longer. Pepper is the worst. It takes much longer for pepper to germinate and grow to a level where you can transplant it into the garden. So that's why you have to start it like 10 weeks earlier. For tomatoes, it's like 6 weeks earlier. So if you know the last frost date in your area, then you can start your seeds that particular seed anyway, 6 weeks before the last frost date. So that way, by the time the last frost date occurs, you have your seedlings ready to go out already. So that's one common thing you need to understand when you're starting your seeds. You don't just start all your seeds at once, and you don't just start all the seeds at the same time, because every one of them has different time for them to germinate and for them to grow. So you need to know that in order to be able to avoid either having your seedlings too early or having them late. And also, you want to make sure that when you're planting your seedlings, each seedling has depth on how deep you can sow it into the container. Usually the seed packet have that instructions on it. So you don't want to sow it too deep if it's not supposed to be sown too deep in the container. If you sow it too deep, it might either not produce or might not come out as soon as you like it to be, or it might not even come out at all. So just follow the instructions on every particular seed on when to sow it and how to sow it. I hope that answers the question that we had on the comments. Let me see if we have any other comments. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Okay, how do I know when to transplant? So, like I said, when to transplant, if you live in areas where we have frost, you have to transplant after the last frost date, because if you transplant your seedlings outside before the last frost date, frost is gonna kill the plant. So you have to know when to transplant. Some cold weather crops you can transplant them much earlier, like kale, spinach, and the rest. You can transplant them early on in spring. Those don't affect they get affected with the cold weather. There are cold weather plants that you can plant them early on like that, no problem. But if you have tropical plants and other plants that love the hot temperature, you need to know when the last frost date is in your area, so that you know when to plant it or when to transplant your plants into the garden. Mm. Another issue is hardening of your plants. Let me see. Hardening of your plants. So, for example, if we have seedlings like this, um, when it gets to that like May time period, you don't just take the seedlings from indoors and then you put them outside. You have to just acclimate the plants to the temperatures outside, because here it's nice, it has a nice and consistent temperature, it doesn't have any issues. But if you bring them outside where the temperature changes drastically every day, the plants, you might either kill it or it might not do as well. So you want to harden the plants. Hardening the plants means you bring them plants regularly outside. You first start with maybe with an hour the first day, and then the next day you let it out for a couple of hours, and then just like that until maybe after a week or so, you can let the plant stay outside when the temperature is nice and good enough, or when it's suitable to leave them outside permanently. So you have to make sure that you harden the plants. Don't just take your plants out from the um, indoor growing and putting them directly outside. You have to make sure that you gradually harden them, let them get used to the temperature swings, let them get used to the temperature outside before you gradually let them out and leave them out completely. That would help you avoid killing your plants. Okay, so let's see if we have any other questions before we continue. Tap the screen if you are liking the live. Tap the screen. Thank you everybody for sticking around. Thank you for the likes and the shares. Any other questions? Um, no, okay. Over here, I don't see any other questions. So, so those are some of the things you have to consider when you're starting your seeds. Just make sure that you follow these guidelines. That would help you. Also, I have a couple of ebooks that I've written. If you guys are interested, I have a couple of ebooks that are written about seeds, starting your seeds and various things. Some of these things that I talked about, they are in there, and gives you step-by-step guide on what to do and the various things to do. And also, it gives you a few other the tools that you need. It provides you that information and also gives you some charts and information on what to do and how to do it and when to plant some various popular plants that people do. So I'll see if I can check the link in the comments below. You might be able to get it on my site. But like I said, these ones are simple things that you can do to start your seeds and be able to make sure that you get your seeds going and get your seedlings going before the start of the season. It's much cheaper to start your seeds and get your seedlings by doing this than to buy them at the store. Because buying one of these pepper plants in here, if you usually go to the store to buy one of these pepper plants that I just planted here, it's gonna cost you about $4 plus. But the whole pack of seeds was about $4, and I got like about 50 seeds on this pack that I got online. And then the seed started mix and everything. Like I said, it's much cheaper to start your seeds. I always start my seeds. I always start my plants from seeds. I'll say 99% of the plants that I grow in the garden are seeds that I start either in inside like this or in my greenhouse. So it saves you a lot of money. You don't have to buy seedlings and stuff like that. I usually buy seedlings if I either have an issue with my seedling or the seed that doesn't germinate, or I'm looking for a particular variety that I don't have. But apart from that, I start all my seedlings from seeds like this, and I'm able to get all my seeds for the year. Excuse me. Let me see. Any questions? Okay, so there's a question. How do you water? Okay, how do you water the seedlings? Yeah, I guess that person wasn't here at the beginning. So with something like this, like I said earlier, with something like this, you water from the bottom. You don't want to water You don't want to water the your seedlings from the top because it has so many disadvantages of doing that. So your seedlings you want to water from the bottom. You lift the tray like this. If you're using a tray like this, you lift the tray like this and put the water at the bottom. That's the best way to water your seedlings. Yes, people, you can still spray the leaves, you can still spray the, but it's advisable the best way to avoid any issues because spraying the leaves, especially some plants, when the leaves are wet, they they easily get problems and they might easily kill the plant. So try to water from the bottom. If you're growing in a cup, for example, in a cup like this, and you have holes at the bottom, you can water on the side, or you can put this cup with your seed starting mix and your plant in a container of water, and it would wick the water up from the bottom. So same with this. If you're using this one can still wake up. Just put it in a container of water. It will still wake up the water, or you can just put the water it on the corner of the plants that you have. It will do the same. For the tray, it's the same thing. You can do the same, or you can do it. Put another tray, like I said before, underneath. If you put another tray underneath, then you can wake the water up to the plants, and the plants will be able to get the required amount of water they need by themselves. Okay, I hope that answer your question. Um, so okay, so grow lights. How many hours of grow lights do you have? Yeah, I said this before. For grow light, like I said, most seedlings they require minimum 8 hours, but usually recommended 12 to 16 hours of grow lights. Uh, you can put an in. I usually do 12 hours. 12 hours is good for the plants, especially like once the plants have the seedlings started producing leaves like this. You want to make sure that they have at least 16 hours of light every day. 12 hours of light minimum that I use for mine is 12 hours of light. But some plants, 8 hours might be fine. For some plants, also the distance for the light, if you are putting the light yourself on the plants, you want to make sure that the lights are as close to this as possible. Maybe 4 or 5 inches, highest, maybe 6 inches from the plant, because the closer they are to the plants, the more light the plants are gonna be able to get it. But you also want to make sure that you don't get it too close that it burns the plant. So that's why something like this that's automatically set with a range on the height will help you. But you don't want to put 4 hours of light on a plant like this. It's not gonna do well. You want to make sure it has 8 hours minimum, but 12 hours recommended for your seedlings, for them to thrive and do well. Hope that answered your question. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the shares. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, like I said, if you guys want, if you guys want me to show you to make another video on making your own seed starting mix, put in the comments DIY seed starting mix, and I'll either share the video or I can make another one live, maybe in the next couple of days. Put in the comments if you guys want that. Put it in the comments, and I'll help you with that. Okay, let me see. Any other questions? I think our live, it's if nobody has any other questions, we can end our live. Um, Okay, which seeds should I start indoors? Okay, so I know I've covered about seeds, but I haven't covered about this particular one. So there are some seeds that you can start indoors. You can start in like this: peppers, tomatoes, even corn, garden egg. You can start a lot of seeds inside, and there are some seeds that you can start outside, or you can just plant them outside. Even in the cold weather, they'll do well. Spinach, lettuce, or most leafy vegetables. You can easily start them outside. You can start them outside without starting them. But things that you want to start inside is they're ones that take longer for them to germinate, they're longer for them to grow, like peppers, tomatoes that need some special conditions, and also um maybe there are a few other ones. I'll see if I can see if I can put a list, maybe put a list together. But there are a few other things that you want to start inside, especially ones that require a little bit of time for them to start and germinate, and a few other ones that are gonna be um, much easier to do. But you can still do them inside, but much preferable to just plant them outside. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, I think that is it for our live today. I hope everybody had a lot of information about seed starting. I hope that provides a lot of information for you guys. I hope I answer all the questions. Thank you, everybody, for the likes. Thank you for the thank you for sharing. Like I said, the link is below. If you're interested in that in this grow setup right here, complete setup, click the link below. Okay, that is it for today. I hope you like the video. If you like the video, smash the like button. If you like the live, and if you're not following me, follow me for more live and more videos like this. And don't forget to share. Thanks, everybody. Happy growing, everybody.